everyone, I'm Isaiah. I'm a Washington ant keeper. When I was about 5 years old, my mom got me one of those little Milton ant farms, and I'm pretty sure that they were the fire ants because they got out once and it hurt. But as a little guy, I was so excited to watch ants do the entire process of going from an egg to a larva to a pupa and then emerging as a worker. And I waited expectantly for my ants to show up. And I looked and I looked and I looked and I could not find a queen. I just was like, they all look the same to me. There's bigger workers, there's smaller workers, but I couldn't tell which one was the queen. And so I waited, and slowly over the course of probably about 2 months, they each died off. And as one would die, another worker would grab it and take it over to the graveyard, which was really cool to watch. I didn't know that ants buried their dead until that point, and that was super cool to just find out that ants have like this honorable society as these teeny tiny bugs. And anyway, so eventually the graveyard was full and my ants were all gone, which was also fascinating because the last ant walked itself to the graveyard and died in the graveyard. So it was like he didn't even dishonor the colony by dying in the tunnels. He died in the graveyard. So ants are aware of their own health, which is really cool, really fascinating. Although rather tragically disappointing for, must have been 6-year-old at that time. And anyway, so fast forward into the future here. And my best friend says, hey, there's this guy on YouTube. Hats off to Ants Canada. And he makes ant keeping look really easy and fun, and we can go find some queens and start from scratch. And that was a really cool idea. I was like, let's do it. And so by the end of the year, I had 3 queens and started ant keeping. A guy down in Seattle messaged me on one of the forums because I was checking out other ant keeping websites and just kind of getting a feel for everything. But he and his son had looked for ants all year and hadn't found a thing, which is more common than you would think. I don't know if it's location or what, but queens are not as ubiquitous as you would imagine. Although if you really go for it, you can find them. And so he was like, "Hey, you've got 3. Would you be willing to spare one for me?" And so I sold him the ant, and super didn't want to let go of that one, but hey, gotta help people out. And that inspired me to start my website where I started gathering up queens for folks that couldn't find them. And so that was where WashingtonAnts.com got its start. And then a couple years later, we started, I'd made enough friends in the ant community through getting people ants, and starting a chat and a couple things like that, that we had an ant convention, and I want to say 30, 40 people showed up, and that was pretty cool. So here we are now, and we're starting a YouTube channel, and it isn't just going to be me. It's going to be our channel here is Washington Ant Keeper, and I'm not the only Washington Ant Keeper. My friend Trevor is gonna be having a playlist or a sub channel, however that's gonna work out. But He's actually in the middle of doing a terrarium build right now, and so that will be on the channel. And then as we gather up more people and whatnot, people can submit to Washington Antkeeper, and they too can have a spot on the channel. And anyway, I'm going to be doing builds. I'm going to be doing demonstrations. I'm going to do some identification stuff. I'm going to do a couple live streams. I'm going to show you how I take care of my ants. I'll give you a tour, all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned, and look forward to some great Washington ant keeping.